And so we started with Tap In Tea, and we made that for Sin City Medium.
Oh, okay.
And it was weird because she was having some like stomach issues.
Oh.
But she didn't want to take like prescriptions, and, over the counter stuff.
Yeah.
And she wanted to go the more natural, holistic route. And so I was talking to Morgan, and somehow like Blue Lotus kept coming up. That tea, trust me, like lucid dreams. If you drink that tea every night and set an intention, you will have lucid dreams.
Welcome to Awaken the Minds. I'm Monica.
And I'm Mikael. Together, we're your guides on this journey of exploration and awakening.
Here on Awaken the Minds, we dive deep into the mysteries of life and beyond, from spirituality and reincarnation
to marriage, personal growth, and the secrets of the universe. And yes, we'll even talk about aliens.
Because let's face it, the truth is out there, and so is the love and wisdom we all need to evolve. So whether you're seeking answers or just curious about the unseen forces shaping our reality,
you found your tribe and the vibes.
So let's awaken the minds together.
Welcome back, Radiant Souls, to another journey of Awaken the Minds, where we navigate the heart, the mind, the visible and invisible, the known and the divine mystery. Whether you're walking in nature, sitting in stillness, or catching this moment between life's noise, we're sending vibrant vibrations of peace, joy, and divine presence your way. If your day has felt heavy, know this: you hold the power to shift energy, flows where the intention goes. So breathe in, anchor it, and align with the frequency of your higher self. Here we hold space for soul growth, conscious conversation, and healing truths. To our returning soul tribe, your love fuels this mission. And to our new family, welcome. I'm Mikael, joined by my lovely wife, Monica. Now let's rise together. Today, guys, we are joined by the co-founders of Mogle, a spiritually rooted tea brand focused on creating intentional blends that support wellness, clarity, and connection with oneness. They met about 4 years ago and instantly felt the vibrant connection they had together for a brighter future, with both sharing the love for the natural and holistic world. Both of these beautiful souls are Reiki practitioners, so in the making of Mogle, it's a creation of healing, energizing, and inspiring, as well as helping the world reconnect with themselves, with nature, and the power of intentional living. By simply slowing down, tuning in, and creating the space of spiritual and emotional clarity, that is the mission of Mogle. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you guys Glen and Morgan. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having us. You guys are so awkward.
Nervous. It's Glen and Morgan.
It's us. It's us. Hi. Hi, first podcast.
Well, welcome, guys, on the pod. How are you guys feeling?
Good, we're good.
Great. Yeah, excited to be
good.
here. A little nervous. Little nervous.
Yeah.
Little nervous.
It's good, for sure. It's good. So I would like to begin, and would you guys share a little bit of your guys' background, just anything in particular that has brought you to this exact moment, just so the public can kind of get to know you guys and kind of your background of who you guys are. Any of you can start.
For me, I would say I never thought I would be here. I would say that. I never thought I would be into spirituality or
Wow.
anything like that, because I was always anti-religion ever since I was little, but I never believed in like psychics and energy healing and all that stuff, but now I do.
Wow. Okay.
When we met, he wasn't involved in anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long?
It was just like kind of like a light switch. Like one day he was like, I think I'm interested in this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, what sparked that interest?
You know what? It was a joke. I would always lay down and my hands, I felt the only way I could describe it is like they felt like they activated. And so then I would tell Morgan, and she was like, maybe you should learn Reiki.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's kind of like, after that, that's when like kind of things took off,
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah, it's just,
That's beautiful.
yeah. And then my sister, she's a medium,
Oh.
so she was going through her thing, and I always go down that rabbit hole. So I was doing a lot of research and looking into things, and more and more, I was like, man, the science makes sense.
Yeah.
And because I'm that guy, I still need like logical proof.
Mm-hmm,
You know, I
mm-hmm.
need data.
Yeah.
But
We're the same.
yeah, you know, so
Yeah.
it's. I feel like I'm kind of like on both sides of the fence sometimes.
I
Yeah.
love. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of got into it. I had just moved out here from Kansas and I didn't really know a lot of people and I was trying to feel like a connection and like get to know people and I actually met an ex at a meditation center and they kind of got me more involved in this because I was like I like crystals. I've always been intrigued with that stuff. And just like coming out here that's more available out here than it is in Kansas and like
Wow.
yeah, like you'll find people who did Reiki, but it was like very special. There's only a few of them.
Yeah.
And people didn't really go into communities or do like meditation centers. And so I was doing one and I was like, I don't know about this. Like I knew like, is it too like woo-woo-y for me? But like I'm also like kind of woo-woo-y. It's like I
She's
don't
like, we're
want-
all a little delulu.
I'm like, no, this like aligns with me, but it's so like out there because coming from my background, it was I lived very much in a bubble. So like if you did meditate or if you like believed that there's something else like in the universe, like it was just kind of like what's wrong with her type of thing.
Right. You're getting judged.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Exactly. And so coming out here, I had done that group and then I met a few people and they kind of brought me more into the world. Like I didn't know what a shamanic journey was. And like I
wow.
did one and I was like, holy cow, like what was that? Like that was incredible. And so I think just by doing all of that and then Glenn and I met at work and we kind of just had like a shared passion together. And it was like, now here we are a few years
Right.
later, like both aligned.
That's awesome.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Roundabout way.
Okay, just so the public knows, you guys are not in a romantic relationship.
It's like a brother to me.
Yeah, I know, because other people are like, oh, they're definitely in a relationship. No, honey, it's just platonic.
No, we just like I
Yeah,
don't know, we like clicked.
yeah, Morgan's like
Yeah.
like my best friend. You know.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So you guys truly believe that a female and a male can definitely be best friends?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too. I believe the
Yeah.
same thing. I believe the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah. No, I definitely feel like there's that mutual respect, right? Because if you have a partner, or you have a
Yeah.
partner, it's like we're all getting to know each other. It's not like a sideways, like, oh no, I'm only gonna get to know you and that's it. Like I don't want to get to know your partner.
Yeah.
Then that's awkward. But I feel like when you're in a relationship and you find like a best friend in a different sex, it's like, hey, like, yeah, cool. Like, you know, like bring the dude around, bring the girl around. Like I'm down. Like, you know, it's dope. Like we're all chilling, we're all friends. Like that, I think that I absolutely believe that exists as well.
The only time like I think like I mean like you said, like people don't get it and they're like, what do you mean you're just like platonic? And it's like,
Yeah.
like what do you mean it has to be otherwise? Like we
Yeah.
both like there are things in both of our lives that we're built different. And it's like I'll say something to him or he'll say something to me and it's like, no, I relate to what you're saying. I'm like, but this isn't normal for everybody else.
Right.
So we definitely think it's like 100% like some sort of like soul or like past or like
I always tell her like I wonder how we're connected on the other side.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
No, like,
Have you guys
I
ever
wanna
done it?
know.
Like, have you guys ever
No.
connected to those past
Huh?
lives? Have you guys ever connected to those past lives?
I've done past life reading before.
yeah.
But have you like connected to them?
Mm-mm.
You guys haven't like
No,
visually.
but they make a lot of sense.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
I
way
know what you're
am
saying.
today.
Yeah. Yes.
It makes a lot
I
of
know
sense.
exactly what you're saying. That's awesome. I mean, so what made you interested from that joke? Like how long ago was that when you started being into spirituality?
Like shortly after that.
Like how long ago was that?
Oh, maybe like 3.
2 or 3 years ago. Probably
Oh, wow.
2.5. Yeah, 2.5, 3 years maybe.
Okay.
So-
Love that. And how has your life changed?
You know what? It's made me appreciate a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was always appreciative,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say there was a point in my life where I had a lot and I lost a lot,
Mm.
and that humbled me. But then, you know, our old habits come back,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and once I got into spirituality, like, trust me, I still make a lot of mistakes.
yeah.
But at least now I can look back and be like, yeah, well, that's where I messed up, or I should have handled that different, you know?
Mhm.
So
I
I
love
can
that.
see the growth in myself,
I love that.
you know?
That's important.
And,
That's really
And I
important.
think once people can see that,
Mm-hmm.
then you're on the right path, you know? Because I think some people feel like, no, you have to do things a certain way, or it has to happen in a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Nah. It's going to
Yeah,
happen
like that.
eventually.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it
you
really
know?
is.
So just go at your pace.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And for you, when did you move here, and when did your spiritual search start?
I moved here about 9 years ago, and I want to say about 7 years ago it started.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I keep like floating like in and out just with like how my outside world
Mhm.
goes. But yeah, no, it started like 7 years ago. Right now, I kind of wish I was more in it, but life.
I get it.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Life.
And for you guys, so like me, I had my, I guess you could say, like a spiritual awakening. I've always been aware growing up of and been conscious of things, but I just never paid attention to my intuition, right? And I never really kind of like avoided trying to go deep down into those thoughts until one day kind of just like my world completely shifted upside down, and that's kind of like where for me it began, like my healing journey. And it was pretty much like a realization for myself, looking myself in the mirror, and it's like, bro, like, you know, what the fuck you doing? Like, what's going on? Like you can't be doing the same shit no more. Like you need to like flip it right away. And then for me, it was kind of like that. I don't know if it was like the same thing for you guys, where like from one day to another, you kind of just start seeing the world differently.
I did. And like whatever was supposed to happen, like I didn't prevent it, but like it happened. Like just like knowing like no, like
Yeah.
trust yourself. But like for me, like ego definitely 100% plays a factor in it.
Yeah.
And just like I'm my worst critic, so like I'm gonna be the first one to be like, no, like you didn't just have that feeling.
Right.
Which is like,
And I overthink a lot too.
yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And what does that come from? Childhood and the way you guys were raised?
I think childhood definitely plays a part. My
Mhm.
sister and I were talking about that the other day. Like, and it's your parents don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing. As far as when I say that, they don't know that something they did, and with no, no bad intention or
Mhm,
anything, but
mhm.
how it affects us now.
Yeah, it would have like a
Yeah.
long term effect.
Right.
100%.
You know, so I think definitely childhood, but also too, I mean, we just have to just try.
Yeah.
It sounds so
Yeah.
simple,
No,
but
I
you
get
know,
it.
it's hard.
Yeah.
You just have to try to trust ourselves.
Mhm.
What makes you overthink though? Was it when you were small that your parents would be like, "Don't do that, because then that's gonna happen to you"? And
No,
then
actually, so like, I remember we had a broken VCR,
okay,
right? It was dating myself, but it was a broken VCR. And my dad, he's the type, he'll fix anything. And so I remember him asking me like, "Oh, do you think you can fix it?" And I was like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, open it and see if you can." And my question to him was, "But what if I mess up something else?" And he was like, "It's already broken.
Mhm.
All we can do is learn from it or fix it, you know?" So took it apart and it worked. We put it back together, it worked, you know? But then I understood like, okay, this has an effect on this, and kind of mechanical in that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay,
know, so that's
Kind of
interesting
start
to
seeing
me.
like the system,
wow.
how things are connected.
that's insane.
you know?
Yeah.
And so my household wasn't, it was like, yo, go ahead if you can't break it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
It's already
So it wasn't
broken.
that. It was just, I don't know. I just overthink. I just overthink all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's just more for like a lot of us men, and in general, like I don't know if it's like a perfectionist thing that we kind of like don't want to screw something up or make things worse. Where for us, it's just like me, I'm a person who's just always in my head.
Yeah.
Like it could be the littlest thing, and then I could go through like a spiral of a million versions of like,
Oh,
all right, let me go through like this, and I was like, let me find like the best solution, and then I'll find one solution. Then I'm like, all right, let me go like another 20, 30 more scenarios of like, what else can I do?
It's a crazy thing how much energy we spend on overthinking.
Yeah.
Like we'll make up all these possibilities and outcomes and unnecessarily, it's like when we're designing like a package, I'll send her like, we'll start somewhere and I'll be like, what do you think of this? I'll send her like 3 different concepts.
Yeah.
She'll be like, oh, I like this. All right. And then from there, it's like 50 more coming. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying.
That's interesting. I feel that for me, am I an overthinker?
Not much.
I don't think I'm an overthinker.
Lucky.
I don't know, God really likes to play favorites. I can't relate. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think honestly, growing up also with my parents also being my parents were very entrepreneurial. Like my dad used to have multi-millions in Mexico. And I feel like that's a character that carries on to his family from his side of the family. And my mom was also very like entrepreneurial. Like she was kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? Don't even think about it. Like just do it. They kind of just, I mean, to take the courage to come from a different country to out here, that's ballsy. Like, to knowing that you're making millions in another country and decide to start from scratch in a different country that no language about, nothing about. So I feel like that's my character, but I am also very impulsive, and I feel like this is where he comes in because I'm a person that's like, I'll purchase all of these because that makes sense, and then he'll be like, but why? And then he'll be like, but why do we need this many lights? Like I have to give him like a whole like fact to fact of why we need these lights, And to me, it's just like, it's obvious we need them. Like, like we need extra ones, And to him, he's like, yeah, but I need to know why. Like we're not spending money just to spend money, And for me, it's just kind of like, go. It's fine. We'll figure it out as time goes by. Like I'm not going to stress about it right now. And I probably only became very overthinking when my mom had gotten deported because I was like thinking for my sister. I was making sure my little sister, she was like 14 going through her teenage years, So that's where a lot of my overthinking came. But I also was like, I'm not going to continue to do that. I don't like overthinking. I don't like it. It just goes all over my head. And then it gets me to a point that I feel low-key kind of depressed because like you go into your head so much because you're thinking about everything and any possibility, any outcome that I'm just like, I don't want to do that to myself, I just kind of want to have a plan and follow that plan, but not overthink the plan, But with him, he is an overthinker to the max. Yeah. Like he will overthink how the coffee's made.
I like to strategically plan things. Like they need to make sense. Whereas like I think about the pros and the cons. And I'm like, if I run into this problem, what can I do here? Now I got to think of like, what is the solution here? Eliminate time, right?
You have a plan already.
Yeah, and I was like, I need to follow through with that plan. Was like, all right, if something comes up here, and here, or how can I deviate from this if this happens? Like, I started like throwing a whole freaking math equation on there, like
yes,
figuring things out.
Yeah, for example, like if we plan a trip, it has to be like detailed. Like right now we're planning another trip and I'm like, he's like, okay, I need numbers. I need locations. I need to know what we're doing. And I literally have to do like a whole itinerary. I don't know how to say that. Itinerary, whatever thing's called, where it's like, hey, like this is a full amount. Yes. Yeah, literally. It's like, and then I take pictures of the cabins and I take pictures. I put the links. I put the prices. Yeah, literally. And then I'm like, pet friendly, not pet friendly, pet friendly with a fee, pet friendly, no extra fee. Like it's just like that. But I'm grateful for that because I feel that also has made me a lot more organized in my life, because if I didn't have him, I think I would still just be like, go with the wind, woo, like, let's just flow, and I feel like that stability, he brings that to me where I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, we cannot just like not go, not know how much we're going to spend, how much is going to be invested in this and what we're going to do when we arrive, either ways with like trips, I love to plan where we're going. It's just like the spending part where I'm just like, I don't care, let's do it, you know. And then he's like,
vacation.
yeah, we're on vacation. Girl got money, it's okay. And he's like, no, we don't. And I'm like, but we do. You know.
Nevada will figure it out. Nevada, you will.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, that's awesome. I mean, do you have sorry, I kind of talked about me a lot. No, I mean, do you have any other questions? No? Okay. Anyways, is it Moglu? How do you pronounce it?
Mogle, right? Or no?
Mogle.
Mogle. Okay, so he was pronounced it right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, is it that? I was like, dang it. I was like, we just butchered it. Oh, how did that start?
Well, Mogle is actually M-O for Morgan.
Oh.
GLE is for Glen.
That's what I figured. I was like,
Yeah.
Morgan and Glen. I was like,
Wow.
Mogle.
That's
where
cool.
That came from.
Oh, wow. I'm baffled. I'm like, wow. Okay, that's smart. Okay, but how did that start? Like, how did that idea start?
So, I don't know. We've always just had different. I think we're both entrepreneurial. In
Yeah.
that
I love that.
sense.
Mhm.
We've both always had some side hustle.
Mhm.
You know, before side hustles were cool.
Mhm.
We always had one.
Yeah.
And then I got laid off,
Mm.
and it was just like, man, I hit that point, and I was like, I don't want to work for anybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
I get it.
'cause
Mhm.
Since I moved to Nevada, I got laid off twice. Yeah, so
That's insane.
That's why I was like, man, loyalty doesn't mean anything.
Oh, no.
You know, so
No.
to be loyal to a company, nah, never again.
Mhm.
You know, I'd rather take a chance on myself.
I love that.
So,
That's really good. I love that part where you said I'd rather take a chance on myself.
yeah.
Because I feel like you never lose when you take a chance on yourself.
Nah,
You
know what I
never-
mean? It was gonna go hard for me.
The only thing you could do is just learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, so but-
Did you guys start experiencing with teas? I mean, I don't know if you guys can give them a little bit of what is your product.
So pretty much, you know, what sparked the interest? How did you guys meet? How did everything start for Moguls? Put on ground from the moment when
Yeah.
it started. To
How did that idea spark?
well, I've always liked cooking or making something,
Right.
you know, and just kind of like the drinks I brought earlier. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always doing something. And then yeah, it was the first tea we did was tap in tea.
Mhm.
And that came about as a crazy story. So like I
Oh,
said,
actually, we have some. Look, bring.
Tapping.
Yeah, hold on. Please
Yeah.
hold. Please hold. We're gonna
Commotion.
put elevator music.
everybody just freeze.
Yeah, everybody, you're just staying in your spots. Yeah.
And so we started with tap in tea, and we made that for Sin City Medium.
Oh, okay.
And it was weird because she was having some like stomach issues,
Oh,
but she didn't want to take like prescriptions,
Mhm.
and, you know, over the counter stuff.
yeah.
And she wanted to go the more natural, holistic route.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to Morgan, and somehow like Blue Lotus kept coming up.
Mhm.
Oh,
Um,
so good.
yeah. And then, like I said, we started looking into it, and we're like, okay, what's good for the stomach? And that's when we were like, oh, bay leaves. So
Mhm.
we added in some bay leaves, Blue Lotus, and then hibiscus, you know, and we made it, and it tastes good. And we're like,
Yeah, it does taste
this is
good.
good. Like,
Yeah, you're like, damn, you
Yeah.
don't give me 20 of those.
So, so we gave some to her, and she tried it, and she was like, no, I literally feel a difference. She said, and I think, like I said, the Blue Lotus in there, it definitely gives you that euphoric, uplifting
Mhm.
feeling, but then it also thins the veil. And she's
Mhm.
medium, so she was like, yo, I was able to tap in like that much faster,
Oh, wow.
you know. And so like she swears by it now. You know?
That's
So-
awesome.
and then we're like, yo, that was fun. Let's make something else. And, you know, and
That's
she had a
awesome.
store on Etsy a
Mhm.
while
Oh,
back,
yeah.
and so you know, if you go on our website, it's like
What is
some
it?
random stuff.
Well, what is it
But-
though? Like, what are you selling there?
So we're kind of like trying to do sustainability as
Okay.
well. So
Yeah.
we have natural toothbrushes. We have some wool socks, our teas, of
Yeah.
course. Just
I
like
love that.
Yeah, we want to be like really natural, holistic, like clean.
I love that. And where can people find that store? What would they put on Etsy?
Shopmoglu.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll put it down here.
Yeah.
So they can also see, everybody can see your guys' information. If you want to go ahead and send me a text with all the information you guys and all your guys' links and stuff, so we can also add them onto here and people can see that and people can follow you guys and also buy your guys' products. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then you guys are building other teas. You guys have other teas. What other teas do you guys have?
So we have the tap in, then our other popular one is Lucid-Tea.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is again Blue Lotus and mugwort, and that tea, trust me, like lucid dreams, if you drink that tea every night and set an intention, you will have lucid dreams.
Oh wow.
And I know that's kind of a bold statement to make.
No,
and that's nothing too with our teas. We want to make sure there's enough active ingredients, so
Yeah, so like our each tea bag of our tap in tea, in the loose sack, they each have 2 Blue Lotus flowers in it because we really wanted to maximize the effects that people were getting.
Okay. Too hard.
Hold it. Hold it.
All day down, mama.
We're not doing this again. Go over there. Now. No. Lay down.
I want to be famous.
Lay down. Good girl.
Whoops. I cannot.
Emotional
Girl.
support.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, and do you guys just find it naturally to be kind of like partners in business? Yeah.
Yeah, we're I think, I don't know, like I said, our relationship we're like brother and sister in
I
a
love
sense,
that.
where
Yeah.
everything we do, the other person has input on.
I love that.
So if it's something that, like the packaging that I'm
Mhm.
working on, she definitely has say so.
I love that.
Or if it's like copy for the website that she's normally good at, and I she'll send it to me and I'll look at it and say, oh, maybe something.
Yeah, tweak
this
a
or
little
that.
bit
But
here.
for
Yeah.
the most part, like we trust each other.
I love that.
And like I said earlier, you gotta let people do what they're good at.
Yeah.
And,
So what's your guys' next step in your teas? How do you guys plan to expand?
So we do have more teas that we're thinking of coming down in the works. At the last event we were at, we like really launched our lemonades there,
Oh,
and so
wow.
we're thinking about additional lemonade flavors. Just because our Mystic lemonade went so well with.
Oh, that one, he
Yeah.
like drank that one. Like we bought, I think like we bought like 4 or 5 of them, and he was drinking them almost every day. I was like, oh, actually
They're
have,
good.
yeah, one of the podcasts is actually your like cup is like right there because he was
Oh, I
drinking
love
it.
that.
Yeah, he was drinking. They're really good. He was like, this is actually really good because you can literally taste like. Doesn't taste high on sugar. It's actually really good. And I'm like, wow, like this actually tastes like, when you make regular hibiscus with like for drink and stuff like that, it tastes really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
no, that's something like quality of ingredients is very important to us.
Yes.
So and then like you said earlier too about sustainability and just responsible sourcing, like all those things matter,
100%.
So I know, we're a very small company, but I think if everybody does their part,
Mm-hmm.
it does have impact.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then do you guys, if you guys don't mind me asking, if anything, we can cut this part off, but do you guys plan on adding any type of psilocybin into it to sell eventually?
So so the sample you guys got today,
Yeah.
That's the trials.
You got
The trial,
The trials.
you got it first.
Really? Let us know how everything is.
I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm God's right now. Making me a guinea
Wouldn't be
pig.
mid-trip like, hey, call him.
Come on, right now. Tell him to pull up.
Literally, you can practice that with your eyes.
Just like with the tea, you will feel it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we do want to expand into that. Because we both always been fans of plant medicine.
Love plant medicine.
And of course, when you're younger, it's more recreational.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna smoke some weed with your friends. Like,
Yeah.
it was just fun.
Yeah.
But now I see beyond the benefits, just how you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Incorporate that like
Mm-hmm.
into your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big thing is
Yeah.
how do we make it so that it's easy, like an easy delivery system, you know, and that you can incorporate, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Because there's people want to do it, but they're just afraid,
Afraid of
Yeah.
it.
you know?
Mhm.
'cause they don't
How was
have-
your guys' first trip? Like, in any type of psychedelic?
My first one was
She was like, shit. Mom, if you're watching this, don't watch this.
No, this is already a fight my mom and I had years ago, so it's fine. Let me live my life.
She already beat my ass. It's okay, guys. I'm here.
Did. And you know what? I could be doing something worse. So
I turned out great.
I'm fine.
I'm thriving.
No, my first trip on something that was like psychedelic, it was a good experience. I am very sensitive to substance, so I'm always like very low dose typically. The only thing that like wasn't great about it was the person I was with got sick. And so like this being my first time, I'm like a little in my head, like, oh shit, like is that gonna happen to me? I don't want that.
So bad.
But I did like a low enough dose that like I was still very like coherent. I remember the walls breathing and I had a cup that had like eyes on it as a part of the design. And like I was seeing those move and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, you're like dope.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm so sorry for you. But like stay over there. This is cool.
I'm gonna say my bubble.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do want to experience more, but I'm like afraid to do more because I do want to have like that more like visual effect. I'm just like,
Let
what
us
if
know.
I'm like, what if I get like in my head and then I go negative? That's what holds me back. Yeah.
One thing about psychedelics is I think a lot of it does matter who you're doing it with.
For sure.
100%. And I feel like, for example, we have actually one coming up if you guys want to be part of it, with one of his friends. And he did it one time and he was not having a good trip. Like he was like, I need to get the fuck away. I was seeing demons. I was seeing this and that. Because you end up thinning that line between the dimensions when you're on psychedelics. It's pretty crazy. People don't believe that. And I feel like that's when people start being afraid of these things. But a lot of these things already exist while we're like sitting here.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't understand that is how mediums communicate. This is how psychics are able to see beyond the veil, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like a lot of people that have done it the first time, they do have bad experiences because of the people that they're around with, But if you guys are ever interested, I feel like our space and the way we do our ceremonies, it's a way of really opening up your heart and being able to get to the root of a lot of the things that are not letting you be the person that you're supposed to be. And I feel like that's what psychedelics is supposed to do. It's supposed to really dig into who you are before the world told you who you needed to be, But
And almost definitely, like for us, it's always doing things intentional. As she was mentioning, our friend who experienced a bad experience, and he was telling me all about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I started like seeing all these things," and I was like, "Well, was it that these things you were seeing, were they because you were seeing them as in like maybe these things are following you, or is it things that you give energy to, right? Because everything you give energy to can manifest itself in any way, whether that's positive or negative, right? But if you're seeing, like for instance, in his scenario where he was seeing like these things, so-called demons, maybe it was the things that he's kind of been avoiding and putting energy to, right? Like, so if you're an anxious person and you go into this route of plant medicine and you start seeing, I guess you would say, a demon or the spiritual creature, maybe that's just the energy we put into creating this thing that keeps us in that field of anxiousness or scared,
Right.
and stuff like that. So that's just my belief. Everybody has their own belief. I believe whatever whatever energy we put into, that's the things that we manifest in our life. But
Not only that, but I also feel maybe your friend was going through a mental battle of yeah. No, it because it enhances everything. If you're feeling like shit that day and you did psychedelics, I'm sorry, you're about to feel like extra like shit. Like not only that, but if it's emotion, like let's say like you're going through a breakup, or I don't know, someone passed away, or whatever the case may be, that's like really daunting to you, and you do psychedelics, that feeling is gonna get extra enhanced. Like you're not gonna be able to just like, for example, in your regular day 3D world, you're able to control it and be like, breathe in through it, I'll be fine, I'll be okay. But then you do psychedelics, that's gonna bring out the whole truth, and you're gonna feel it at that moment. So that's probably why she also got sick, or he got sick. I'm not sure if it's a girl or boy, but that's probably why they got sick, because at the end of the day, it was also emotions that we get stuck through years of life too, and we're just kind of like either throwing up, taking a shit, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever the case is, like the plant medicine is gonna make you purge because it needs to cleanse you one way or another, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but after that, you still continue to do your psychedelic.
I didn't let that stop.
she's like, I'll take maybe just a little bit less.
Give me like 2 weeks to forget about it. We're good.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I mean, what about for you? When was your first psychedelic experience?
I don't remember when. I just remember what happened. You know, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Probably a little out of high school,
Right.
you know. So long time ago. But yeah, it was just one of those things where my buddy had some mushrooms, and it was like, oh, let's do some mushrooms. And I lived with my cousin, well, my aunt and my cousin, and I rented the garage. And so that was a spot to hang out. You know, everybody came to the garage to hang out.
Yeah.
And, you know, always had a bong in there. And the refrigerator always full of beer.
Hookah, everything.
So, yeah, you know, exactly. You've been there.
I've been there.
So we're in the garage, and somebody buzzed out a bag of mushrooms. We're like, oh, yeah. All right, let's eat them. So we went and got some Doritos. I remember eating them with nacho Doritos.
Yeah, because
they taste-
raw, God.
But you know what? So since I started growing my own, they don't taste as bad. So that makes me think I had some bad mushrooms, or they were old.
Oh,
You know, but
that's a good
like
way.
a good mushroom just has an earthy taste. It doesn't taste.
Yeah.
No, I mean they all taste earthy, but I cannot. Like I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a
I'm like
lot.
dirt.
It's a lot. You know.
And like
But-
to me, they taste like, I don't know if you guys ever had like these thin, those like Mexican.
Oh, they're like.
Hey, you guys ever been to church? You know, they give you like the little cracker.
Oh,
That's what it tastes like
That's
to
what
me.
it tastes like to you?
That's what I said. What? I was like, what kind of fucking mushroom are you eating? 'Cause
Yeah,
what
that's some holy-
I think it's holy for me. I don't
I got
know.
the good shit.
Like same thing with ayahuasca. For me, ayahuasca tastes like almost like hot chocolate in a way. It's just like very chocolate.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a bad
like,
flavor to me. It just.
That's insane. No,
No,
every time I drink it, I'm like,
I will say this: I don't like it warm.
oh.
The last time I had it, it was kind of warm. It was warmer than I would like, so that kind of bothered me a little bit. Not that I drink it on ice, but
it's like just take it like a shot.
yeah, the first few times I've had it, it wasn't that hot.
Oh no! All the times we've taken it, they've always been warm.
Been
Especially
warm.
because the guy that we take it from, he naturally
Yeah.
grows it, and he puts like specific branches that do need to get warm so it can
Right.
kind of activate the
Yeah, yeah.
ayahuasca and all of that. So heck no, he was like, "Oh, this tastes like." Have you guys ever tried hot chocolate, like the grandma hot chocolate, the Mexican grandma?
Yeah.
He said tasted like that. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, even the shaman was like, chocolate. I was like, I was like, okay, what the fuck are you guys drinking? Because we're not drinking the same thing. Heck no, I drank that. And he says like, don't drink water right after because you want it to activate in your system. So I'm like drinking it and I go like this and I'm like swallowing all my saliva because I'm like, I'm not drinking water, but I'm drinking my saliva because it does not taste, it literally tastes like dirt with herbs and like.
Yeah, it's not that bad to me. It's not that bad.
That's crazy.
Not chocolate, but it's not that bad.
He says it's chocolate, and I'm like,
It tastes chocolatey to me. And I'm not like much of a big fan of chocolate either.
It's wild.
Yeah, no, I don't think it tastes like that. But, so sorry to interrupt you about your story. You guys were like, where you guys they took out the
We were in
mushrooms,
the garage with the mushrooms and the hookah.
and the hookah, the beer, the bong. You know,
They bust out the mushrooms. We're like, all right, let's do mushrooms. So we take the mushrooms, and then you didn't weigh it. You don't know how much. You just took a pinch.
You just got a handful.
You know, we kind of split it up. You know what I mean? Between the 4 or 5 of us, and that was it. So weigh your medicine. You know, no, really, I think that's so important. You know, dosage is so important.
yes,
Like I think that's not stressed enough.
yes,
You know? So,
We literally talked about that in our previous podcast.
yeah. And even matter of fact, little side story though, the event where we met you guys,
Mm-hmm.
a woman came to our table and she had mushrooms that she brought from somebody
Oh,
else,
shut up.
but they were the Amanita.
Okay,
Right? And
yeah.
what bothers me is a lot of people, they market it as, oh, this is psychedelic, but it's not truly
Mm-hmm. Yes.
magic mushroom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I started asking this woman questions. I was like, well, how much do you need to take?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to take it? And she had no answers. So then she asked me, he was like, do you have a card? You know, because
Mm-hmm.
the lack of information that's out there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we say.
You know,
too.
and I feel like people either gatekeep the information
yeah.
and want to charge you some crazy price for access, you know, or
Yes.
they just don't tell you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
so,
insane. This is just one thing. I don't know. Have you guys heard of Dolores Cannon? I literally talk about her in all the podcasts. I'm always like Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon. I'm not gonna like take out all the times I literally say her name. So I've read a lot of her books and I listened to them. And I don't know. Have you guys listened to Jesus and the Essenes or what's the other one? Walking with Jesus? No. So those are really good. So she goes under she hypnotherapies people obviously and goes past life regressions on them. They don't remember these sessions but she records them and she makes sure that witnesses are there because that's how she started making her work credible. And she talks about how obviously now that the Messiah has returned right in this world is because we're accessing the Jesus Christ consciousness. And she says anybody that gatekeeps isn't part of what the laws are supposed to be. We're all supposed to transfer this information so humanity can get better. So every time I do see people that are into like spirituality or into like doing like Reiki and stuff like that, and they don't share information, like it really bothers me. It like really bothers me because I'm like, this is information that people need to know. And this is why people are like so non-knowledgeable on the things because you're getting this information and you're not sharing it because you don't want them to be better than you. But at the end of the day, you're like going to create a bigger community by them knowing this information, you know? And I don't think that there's anything else that bothers me the most when people are like, I'm spiritual and this and that. And like, and they're gatekeeping, they're like not really spiritual. They just say that they're spiritual. And I'm just kind of like, you are not doing anything what a spiritual person should be doing. Like you're
especially
actually
those people that just want to do it for some money.
Yes.
You know,
and they're like charging
there's a lot of that,
insane money for it. I'm like, you're charging a Reiki session with like just for an hour for like what, like $300? That's crazy. I'm like, I mean, I get you're supposed to get your money, but
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with making money.
make
Nothing
your
wrong
money.
making
Like, you know, make your
What
money.
to say though? Don't be greedy with it.
Right.
Yeah, but don't be greedy. Like
Yeah.
this girl.
That part.
Don't be greedy with it. Like at the end of the day, make your money. Like if you need to make your money, charge what you believe you should charge. But for me, for someone to charge $300 and then they get no feedback after their session is insane for me. Like, for example, I do Reiki on people, and sometimes I give them like microdoses on shrooms because some of my clients that have gone through it are able to access past lives, and they're able to go through, when I'm going through their chakras, they're like, oh, when you got to this, it's been crazy. There's this one time where I did a Reiki session on this girl, and she was able to access a time in her life where she wasn't able to have babies and stuff like that. And she says she started burning like a lot of stuff, and I swear to you, I was getting really hot. Like, I was sweating. I was like, fuck, I am sweating. And I was like, I think I had like a shirt up to here, I'm not sure, and I was like hot. I was like, oh my gosh, like, let me pull up my like sleeves. And when she was telling me when that was happening, she was like, oh no, it was like at the end of the session. And I was like, what? When I was getting hot, it was when we were literally just starting. And I was like, that's crazy, because the timeline, like the time that she was in and I was in, it was so different. Like, it didn't correlate to what she was saying. Like, I was like, that's crazy, because when I got to your stomach is when I got really hot, like around her stomach and her heart area. And she was like, no, she was like, it happened literally when we were almost done. And I was like, that's insane. And since we were both like on a microdose, I felt like we were like shifting timelines. It was insane. Like, I was just like, and I'm like, and to me, I only charge like $120 for that experience. And then after that, we sit there, we record the experience, and then I send them the experience. And I'm like, hey, so if you ever want to reflect back onto it, here you go. This is what I felt. And maybe it doesn't resonate with you now, but maybe your higher self, you might find this recording in 2 years and you'll be like, holy shit, that makes sense. You know, like, I'm like, I don't know. And so with Dolores Cannon, I've learned a lot of the way that she works is recording her sessions. And like, because she's like, sometimes people don't want to listen to it in that moment, but they need to listen to it whenever they're ready, you know? And sometimes they're not ready in this timeline, but 3 years from now, they're ready to listen to it. And it all makes sense to them, right? But either ways, I went off topic. Sorry. No, but definitely, I mean, and then we never finished your story. Your mushroom story. And then obviously you guys took the mushrooms. Now that you know about mushrooms, do you know how much you guys took?
I would say, just an educated guess, I probably took maybe 3 grams.
Okay, that's a lot for your first time.
Yeah. But I have a high tolerance, like,
but still, for your first time?
For everything, though.
Oh,
Like
really?
prescriptions, cannabis,
Everything.
mushrooms. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, because I also do like guided journey with people,
Oh, I love that.
and I could literally cook a meal while I'm on like shrooms. I could take 4 grams and make dinner.
That's insane.
It sucks in a way, though, because even with like cannabis, I have to take a high dose.
Oh,
Like, sometimes I just want to chill. And
I don't want to think.
a lot of times now that I do it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to meditate or just self-reflect.
Right.
But sometimes I do just want to hang out.
Yeah.
And I need a high dose.
Yeah.
It could happen.
That sucks.
It sucks that way.
Yeah, like I wonder if that has something to do with the logical side of our brain. I wonder if there's something that correlates it, because I also have like a high tolerance. Like, I don't like drink a lot as I used to before, or smoke a lot. I used to smoke a lot of weed. Like, I kid you not, when I used to smoke, I'd go through like half an ounce in a day. Like, that's how much I was smoking.
Yeah.
and I didn't feel it like if it felt just like if I were to think about it like now, like maybe if I were to smoke a joint now, like it would probably feel like that half ounce would feel like that little joint now.
Right.
But back then, like I was just smoking so much.
Stuff now is way stronger, though.
Oh yeah.
I want to grow, but organic.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
That's what I would want. Like,
You bring back chronic, guys.
Yeah.
Not you guys over here. Guys, we're not drug addicts, I promise. It's not drugs, guys. It's
Medicine.
plants, medicine. It's
Medicine.
no, but definitely. I mean, from your guys' most When was your guys' most current trip?
My last one, I didn't take enough. So like,
She was like, "You sound so disappointed."
I was disappointed.
It was
I get
sad.
disappointed when she
Well-
doesn't take it.
He's like, man, did you see that? And she's like,
The fuck you looking at?
No, I had done it with my partner and it was their first time. So like I wanted to make sure I was fine in case like anything happened. And I like for like somebody else's first time, like you just never know.
That's
Yeah.
100% true.
So it's like, okay, like let me do I think I texted you that I was like, we did like 1 or like 1.5 grand.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
little bad. Girl, that's a little trip to the beach.
Yeah, so it was very chill. It was a vibe. Not the vibe I wanted, but the vibe we got.
The vibe you needed at
Yeah.
that time. Okay, that's fine. And what did you learn from that trip?
Do more.
That's her thing, though. She always does
I
not do
do.
enough.
Yeah.
I like just get scared sometimes.
You just
because of,
gotta
like-
let it flow.
Well, I think because of my like the past experience I had and like just like the people I used to hang around because it's vastly different than the people I'm hanging around
Yeah.
now. It's just like
Mhm.
I saw things and so I'm like, well, like what if? Or even my first time I tried it really anything. It was like, okay, I kind of want a babysitter because like what if? Like this is
Yeah.
scary to me.
Mhm.
Never got a babysitter. They
Need somebody
always
to-
did it with
to like
me.
kind of guide you.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to plant medicine or like any medicine in general, it is going to give you like that anxiousness because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the way I've been able to understand it, like the anxiousness that comes along is when the body and the spirit are becoming two. Because there's no longer one body and spirit together. And then once you start accessing a higher frequency, the two cannot work together.
Really?
They need to separate.
I don't think so.
Like from my experiences are always like that.
Oh.
Like the body and the spirit needs to be separate. Like one thing that really made me understand that was Bufo. Because I tried Bufo and then with Bufo, like there's no brakes on it. It's like
Yeah.
you going 0 to like 2,000 like that. And one thing that I've noticed from that was the two cannot coordinate because I was trying to fight it because I'd done it once. I would like to redo it again now that I'm more aware of what to expect. But I think because of that unexpectedness that I didn't know what was gonna happen, my body and my soul were like fighting each other. And like I mean my trip was the longest out of everybody there. Like I was probably there for like 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, dang, that's
and
long.
and they
Yeah.
said everybody like that's like 2 to 5, 10 minutes. And like literally I was the second person and by the time I came up, like everybody was already done.
Yeah,
So, like-
that is a long time, especially
Yeah.
for Bufo.
You've done Bufo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
How was your experience?
for me, it was the only word I think of is like disillusion.
Mm.
It just like everything just went away.
Yeah.
Everything was away, and I felt like I was just floating in this gray cloud,
Oh.
and it's kind of just like a ego death,
Yeah.
you know. And after that, after I came out of it, I couldn't stop crying.
Wow.
Like I cried, I want to say probably for like maybe an hour.
That's insane. That's good
where-
though.
Yeah,
That's
wasn't like
amazing.
a bad cry. I was
Mhm.
just super emotional.
yeah,
But I think those emotions are also like a form of purging,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know. And even with like psychedelics, you know, sometimes
Oh,
you take them and you get emotional.
Oh, 100%.
And you know, some people feel like, oh, I don't want to get him. No, let it
No.
happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
supposed to. So let it happen.
Yeah. I think that's such an important statement, and you as a man saying that, and I always like when he says that too, like I always tell him too. I feel like as a man expressing that it's okay to cry is so valid in this time of the world, because we, in the times that we grew up, it was always like, you don't cry, like stop crying, why are you crying? And you didn't even know sometimes why you were crying, but you just needed to cry, like fuck man, like I don't know, I'm just crying, and I feel like that's just so important, that you don't need a reason to cry. You just, if like I'm a crier, I don't give a fuck, like like I'm so serious, like if I'm really happy, I will literally start crying, like I'm just so grateful, like like fucking crybaby,
Yeah, I think it's just our body can't handle that energy, whether
Mm.
it's good or bad, and that's why we cry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like that's so valid. I feel like people underestimate that. And I feel like sometimes people are scared of plant medicine because of that, like they're scared to feel. And because with plant medicine, you don't know what's going to hit you.
Yeah.
It just hits you randomly, and you're just kind of like start crying. Like, we've had moments where he's just like, damn, I'm so grateful. And like, he's crying and he's like, damn, like, I really love you. And I'm like, oh, you do? But like, it's just like those things where you like him as a man, where he's just kind of like, I don't even think I would have, lived the life I'm living right now, be married to the type of woman I'm married to right now. Seeing the way his family is now is so different how his family was before he started his spiritual work, and how it like ripple effects in between families. It like really ripple effects.
That's true. I believe it.
Yeah, like there's some work that's being done spiritually that we cannot see that brings your family closer, and you don't know what it is or how it happens, but it happens, and like with his family, I mean, I'll let you kind of talk about that.
Pretty much like when we first met each other, started dating, like me and my family were like very disconnected. Like it was kind of just like hi bye, and like that was like kind of it. Like
there wasn't not even a hug.
Yeah, there was like not even let's sit on the table, like let's have a conversation. Let's have like a honest conversation, like a deep conversation, like speaking about just anything live. Like it wouldn't matter. Everything was kind of more like robotic, right? Like I've seen it, like everything was just like robotic. Everybody's just going about the day, like, oh, get off work, do this. Okay, now cook, eat, watch TV. All right, go to sleep. And I was like, I can't be in this. Like I couldn't be in the house. Like I was never home. I was just always out because like
in them streets.
not even in the streets.
Doing that shit.
I was out there throwing the bag.
Hey, do what you gotta do, right?
That's fine.
But like I started noticing, like especially like how when I started my healing journey, most recently I started doing the intention of doing plant medicine was to start healing like my family bloodline, and that's been like
the ripple effect.
Yeah, the rippling. Whereas like we can see it like flourishing now. Like when I first started, it was more like I feel like I need to do it for myself first, because if we don't do it for ourselves, how can we do it for somebody else, right? It's almost like the same way it goes. If you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else and expect someone else to show you love if you don't know what kind of love you love? And so that kind of like where it started for me, doing the work for myself, kind of like noticing all these things, and then now incorporating my family, their bloodline, like trying to like clean things up, right? I guess I was the chosen one for the family,
No, definitely. I mean, and I feel like this is like a touchy subject for him, so it's a little harder for him to explain. But, for example, like when I first started coming around, I'm a hugger and I'm a kisser. Like, hey, what's up? Like, and that's just how we grew up, and with him, like his family was literally like, oh, hi, handshake. And I was like,
we're like cats.
Yeah, and I was like, first of all, you guys are Mexican and you guys are doing this weird shit that I don't like. And I'm like, so I started like grabbing his parents and I'd be like, oh, hi, like hugging them and kissing them. And then like, and then they were like, oh, okay. And then that started rippling effect to their kids. Like they start hugging them. They start like, oh, how are you? Before it was literally like when he was living with his parents and I would go over, it was literally like, oh, hey, how was work? I was cool. All right, cool. And I was like, you guys don't sit down. You guys don't talk. Like that's crazy.
What is
like, yeah, like, and then I remember he used to be like, they're never gonna change, never gonna change. And I've always been a big believer that if we are the example for the rest of the people, it will follow. Like, it will definitely follow. And he was like, no, like, that's never going to change. And I was like, you need to start it. You need to do it first. You need to show them that this is possible, because they also have this perception that who you were, not who you are, And so he also started with like the hugs and the kisses and like stuff like that. And the, hey, I love you. And because they just wouldn't. And to me, that was just weird because I didn't grow up in a household like that. I grew up in a very much like my dad is very much till this day, like he'll grab me like if I was like still 8 years old, and he'll kiss me and he'll be like, I love you. Like, you know, like he'll play with my hair, and like he'll be sitting next to us and he'll be hugging us and kissing us. And my mom was the same way. So to me, it was very foreign seeing that on their end, because I was like, oh, no, all Mexican families hug and kiss. Like, oh, that's kind of crazy, you know, because that's all you know. But now with his healing, the past, like we did one for his birthday, which was on May 23rd, sorry. And he was turning 30, and he ended up kind of like purging the whole shroom trip. Like he was just like, and at first he was like, no, like guys, I'm not gonna hang out with you guys, like, because I'm purging. And I'm like, shut up, like bring the fucking trash can everywhere. He was literally carrying his little bucket everywhere, like, you know. And then he was like, okay. And our backyard is super big, so usually like at night when it's like super dark, we like to go outside and you can see the whole stars. It looks so beautiful, like, and then you start seeing like the Matrix, like how they say the Matrix, like the veil. Yeah.
Obviously, I've looked up in the sky and it seemed like the sky was put together in like pieces.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Almost like in the maybe you guys have seen this movie too, but like in Chicken Little, where the piece of the sky falls.
Yeah.
Like the sky's falling. It looks like that.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. Like we recently did another one because my friend was dating this one guy, and he didn't understand how we viewed life, and he never done any type of psychedelics like that. So I was like, okay, like, dude, like, we got you. Like, just let us know what day and we'll plan around it. I personally, whenever we're hosting a ceremony, I love to deep clean the house. I love the house to smell good. I love to put like roses everywhere. I love the little like soft lights because it just changes your trip a lot. And so then I was just like, just let me know when. Literally that day, like I stay literally cleaning the whole house. Like I clean the bathrooms because sometimes, you know, you want to just go in the tub and like just stay in the tub or like take a shower, and the water gives you messages, you know? And after that trip, he was like, damn, you guys aren't crazy. And I'm like, no, dude, like we're literally just one. Like we're one all together, you know? And he kind of like, obviously once the trip is done and you go back to the real world, this is where the real work starts, you know? Yeah.
Integration.
Yeah, no, definitely. But with that being said, and me talking all the time, sorry, this is not my interview, but no, but definitely. I mean, you would definitely do more, obviously. But you've done psychedelic, like even though you've done that one, what other ones have you done that have taught you a lot?
I really just done like that one that's like
Okay.
I've always been just a little
Too hesitant?
yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to go a little deeper? Yeah. It's calling you now?
I like want to go deeper. There's still part of me that's like hesitant. So then I just hold myself back of like, well, if you go deeper, like more shit could like be brought up. Make sure you're prepared for that. It's like
that's kind of like one thing like for us, especially when we're setting like an intention to go into a ceremony. Especially if we're gonna have like guests with us, I always tell them, I was like, don't come with the expectation. Set an intention of what it is that you want to see, heal. Like what I can't explain to them what their trip's gonna be because everybody's trip's gonna be different. But that we definitely would say like, you know, come comfortable. Like you don't want to be doing the ceremony and like some skinny jeans and you know.
I do the same thing. I always tell people, you know, be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times I'll just have like some slides on.
Yeah.
Just some
Sweats
joggers
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
no.
you gotta be comfortable.
You really do have to be comfortable, and because it strips you away. And you want to feel comfortable while you're being kind of like stripped away from this ego death that you're experiencing, you know? But what about for you? You've gone deep through plant medicine.
Psilocybin, cannabis, ayahuasca.
Okay.
So, combo.
Combo is great.
Yeah, sananga.
So I'm not sure. What is that?
That's the one.
Get that, mama.
The drops. I think I said that right. Sananga.
Oh, no, I thought you said
the
something
eye
else.
drops.
Oh, no.
No, have you guys tried that?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like,
Okay.
definitely look into that. That's
What is it called again?
I think it's called sananga.
Sananga.
I think.
I've
My-
heard about like one like that where it's like eye drops, but I never did really know what it's called.
Yeah, and it burns for about 30, 40 seconds.
Okay, nice warning.
Yeah, but
Expect your ass to be
some
dry.
people have said like it helped with like cataracts and stuff like that.
Oh,
Like they'll
wow.
do like a 30-day, you know, like every day for 30 days of
Oh wow,
drops. Yeah,
that's
it's not as bad as it sounds.
Does it give you visuals?
Nah, nothing like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Nah. It's kind of like, have you done combo before?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that, but for your eyeballs, you know,
Okay. So it's more,
Got it.
it's more of like a
for your head.
cleanse, like a cleanser. Okay.
More mental, you know. So
That's good to know. Okay. And when was your most current psychedelic trip?
He's like yesterday.
Before
I was actually going to do some tonight.
Oh, okay.
But I did ayahuasca about 3 weeks ago. 4
Oh,
weeks ago.
okay. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. It was honestly my best ayahuasca experience.
I love that.
So
In what way would you say it was like the best compared to the others?
it was so the first.
If you want to talk about that, if it did,
No, I'm an open book, man. The first few times I did it, I didn't feel anything,
gotcha.
and I couldn't sleep, and that was what bothered me. Like I have a hard time sleeping, but
Okay.
it seems like after I did ayahuasca, I could not sleep. And
Oh,
yeah, I
interesting.
just could not sleep.
Oldie.
So I went in there thinking like, all right, I'm going to see something. So you're not supposed to have any expectations, but I'm thinking, okay, I at least thought I was going to see something crazy.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and I did. I know I had an out of body experience. I have those a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew it. I had it because I just remember myself like snapping back into my body. And hearing like that snapping sound,
Mm-hmm.
waking up, and I was like, damn, what was I doing?
No,
So-
fuck. Don't remember shit.
yeah. So this time, the last time I took it, I was able to sleep. And of course, I was nauseous for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the most pleasant for my body, I'll say.
Do you remember what you saw in this one?
For me, you know what? It was a lot of I was just looking up in the sky.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
And there were like 2 stars that kept moving, and it was just 2. And I was like, the logical part of me is like, okay, I'm going to use this as a marker to see if everything else is moving. And it's like, oh, just this one star. Yeah, well, it's probably in my head,
No, it probably
But-
wasn't.
There was the stars, and then there was a lot of trees around me, like these big trees.
Oh wow.
And I could see the aura of all the trees.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That to me was so dope.
That was
you know?
dope.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's so
I
cool.
thought that was so dope. You know what I mean? Because I think we don't like. I always tell them like we don't think about how alive the Earth is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just take that for granted. Like,
Yep.
so one of my like profound things I've learned, or on my psychedelic trip, is like as humans we just deplete.
Yeah.
Like we're the only being that doesn't give back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if an animal dies in the woods or in the
Mhm.
jungle, like their body will feed
Mm-hmm.
something. Fungus will take care of it,
Yeah.
decompose,
Yeah.
and goes back to the earth, and
Mm-hmm.
that cycle continues.
Yep.
But as humans, we don't contribute to that cycle.
Mm-mm.
We just we take.
We keep taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like that's why it's so important, like the work with the plant medicine, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's how you're giving back to the community. That because you're like bringing that awareness to people,
Yeah.
bringing that awareness that there's more to the world, that the world is alive, the trees are alive, these cameras have energy, like
Right,
we're all
yeah, everything
we're
is
all
energy.
built under a purpose, and we don't realize like until we're like deep balls into either mushrooms, ayahuasca, or whatever it is, you're like, dang, like it all makes sense,
Yeah.
But then you start thinking about it in your like real world, and you're like, was I going crazy? And you're like, I'm not sure if that was real or if I was just like tripping, like tripping real bad, But it all makes sense when you're on it, and you're just kind of like,
yeah.
damn.
So like my first out of body experience, that was what I learned was death is not the end. Like that was so profound to me. And I just remember I was laying there and I felt like I was just like accelerating up into the sky. And then when I got there, this like blue gas cloud like came to me. And it just, I know it's hard to explain, but it felt like, I don't know, like I knew this person, like almost like an aunt or somebody, you know, came and gave me a hug. That's how it felt. And I was just like, why are people afraid to die? Like,
This is cool.
yeah. And that just stuck with me. And ever since then, I think I looked at things different because then I wasn't afraid to die. Like, I don't, you know, we don't want to go get in a car accident and die, but I know like
More
it's
at
not
peace
the
with
end.
it.
Yeah. You know, and
It's like one of the things I always like to say is it's inedible. Like we really don't know. Like you know, like the Bible talks about it. Is you know, it's the cycle of life, right? We come to Earth, and then one day we won't be here. And then like one of the like, I guess I've come to terms with it because I've just like I'm surprised I'm here. Like that's the only way I can explain it, right? Like I'm surprised I'm still here. Like I like growing up for me, like I really didn't expect to see over 20. Like that's how so much shit was going on in my life. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to 21. But like now I think with those experiences, it's kind of the same thing where I've made my peace. Is like, well, we really don't know when our time's gonna come. Like our time's gonna come, and it's not gonna be like how we plan it. Like we just never really know. Like the cycle of life is just gonna, you know, like a tidal wave is just gonna come, and you're not gonna be prepared.
Yeah.
But,
100%.
and then in those things, what has been like the most valuable lessons that you guys have learned or experienced, just in general, or with like plant medicine, just anything in general? Like, what are some things that
I think
that to this day you value?
for me, it's just be authentic. You know, like that's far less painful. You know, like just really be authentic and trust yourself. You know, that's for me. I think that's what I've learned from it.
Gotcha.
Love that. What about for you?
I want to say I feel like lame saying this, but like I feel like it's almost like taught me like just like to keep trying or like
Love
keep
that.
going again and like and again and I mean like yeah I could stop but like why would I?
Yeah. I love that. As you should.
What does awakening mean to you?
I have to think about that. I think it could be like a few different things. Like I think just being like aware, like you're just being awake, even if it's something small, like recycling. Like you're just like kind of being awake for the earth and like how am I going to make it like a little bit better or like what am I going to do differently so it's not like I'm leaving behind. I don't want to say like trash, but like
Right.
I'm making it worse. Sort of. It's like kind of being awake to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no right or wrong. We all have our own different awakening.
I think for me, awakening would be, I guess just, yeah, the only thing I could think of is just kind of like piggyback off what she said, you know, as far as being aware and just, yeah, don't be afraid. Just do it. You know, just do what feels good to you. You know, like do what feels good. And I know that that's for some people. I used to get frustrated when you know, if you do what you love, you never have to work. I'm like, yeah, because you can do what you want, you know. But some people have to work. But
Yeah.
even if you're working a job that is not aligned with what you want to do, because I don't believe we're created to work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like
Same.
I cannot believe that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? As intelligent as we are, as special as we are, like no, we're destined for greater than that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think do whatever you can towards that, like whatever your goal is. As small as it may be, you know, and towards your goal and to loving yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
Have you ever experienced like a dark night of your soul? And what do those dark times teach you?
I want to say for me, the times I've experienced, it's just kind of like, it's okay. Like, you might not like this right now or how it's going to look, but it's not going to be like it for everything. Like, kind of like keep moving forward, like keep pushing through type of thing.
Okay.
What about for you?
For you?
For me, it's, I think no matter how bad something is, you find some silver lining, and I actually started this thing, kind of, it goes along with that, where no matter what, don't complain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be like, oh shit, this happened. But like, all right, that happened, but I'm going to do this and it might mitigate it, or, you know what I mean? At least lessen the blow somehow. Like,
Yeah.
always try to find some, as small that silver lining may be, like, just try, and so far it's been working,
Yeah.
It's just like the saying goes, like, don't add wood to the fire and make the fire bigger than it needs to be. Yeah.
Do you both know what your purpose is in this world?
I wish. I'm like, if you know anybody who knows how to, let me know.
You can figure it out through shrooms. You literally can.
Very true.
As the deeper you go, you will figure it out. The deeper you go. What about for yourself?
For me, it's just that. Matter of fact, I told my dad recently. My dad's old school, and to him, like, oh, marijuana is drugs. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're on drugs. But I told him, I was like, I think my purpose is to give people access to medicine.
I love that.
And that's what I think it is, whether it's, psychedelic or cannabis, anything natural.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe, like, we weren't put here without a way to fix ourselves.
100%.
So why would we not have plants? And I'm sure there's a cure for everything, And yeah, sometimes people need prescriptions, but I think for the most part, if we watch what we eat, like, I think that's like the biggest thing right there. Watch what we eat, and just try to eat
Try to
natural.
do that. I love that.
Yeah. A lot of our strong belief that we have too, where it's, there's just so many things now chemically made, made in the lab where it's given to us, fed to us, but we're forgetting our roots. Whereas like a lot of this stuff used to come natural, right? Back in, if we go back to like sticks and stones, people will go hunt for the food and bring that back.
Right.
Now it's just so right around the corner, ready for us. Where it's like, here you go, but what's in it? We don't really know what's.
I always think, like, if you look at people that live in the jungle or something like that, they're old.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you have people out here, they're old, but they're almost dead.
Yeah.
But
It's true.
If you look at those, like, indigenous tribes and stuff like that, those people can be real old and still active.
Yep.
They're still fit, no body fat, and, just healthier, but they're not eating the crap that we eat.
Yeah.
100%. They're hunting for it.
Yeah.
They're literally going out there and looking for it, What are, now that you guys are more aware of your goods and your bads, what are habits, masks, things that you are aware of, but you still constantly doing, you kind of want to be done with, but you don't know how to.
Like the things you battle.
Yeah, like the things that you battle.
Listening to myself.
Your intuition?
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like, I don't know that I'm always right. I don't want to say that. I feel like that sounds icky. But like, even like on the way here, like I was saying, like I knew, and I was just like, no, like where else would it take me? Like, where else is it going to take me?
She's like,
At the airport.
take me
on a trip.
Take me to Terminal 1.
Yeah.
You're trying to catch flights.
She's like, we flying?
Not talking about feelings today. You catch flight.
No feelings.
So that's where I'm just like I knew better. And I'm still just like, no, like, it's fine.
Yeah. Listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Your biggest one. What about yourself?
Definitely listening to myself, but, trying not to overthink and take action faster.
Mm-hmm.
Was that analysis paralysis, or say that backwards. Well, you know where you have
Yes.
too many options, and you're like, damn. What should I do? Then you don't do anything.
Yes, because you feel
That happens
overwhelmed.
sometimes.
Spiraling.
Yeah. She was like, I spiral a lot. Girl, I spiral so much.
Every other hour.
I am a spiraler. I might not be an overthinker, but I'm a spiraling person. I will literally be like, I saw an owl last night. Now I gotta know why. What did he need to tell me? Because owls are not very seen out here, you know? Or like, for example, there was a big spider outside of our door last time, and you know, this girl, she's so oblivious to life, and the spider is literally on the glass, and it's furry, looks like a tarantula. The eyes are like looking at me, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And this girl's like, and I'm like, girl, you're gonna get eaten. Like, what is that? So it was white too. So I was like, I've never seen one like that.
And you guys,
And
not to cut you off, but you guys know what's the craziest thing? Like any bugs that we see are all albinos.
No way.
We've seen praying mantis,
white,
moths, the spider she saw. Like they've all been white, like no any other color.
And they always come inside the house all the time. Like when we first moved in here, there was 2 praying mantis, white albino, beautiful, beautiful. He was gonna kill it, and I was like, no.
I was like, what is that?
And he was about to step on it, and I was like, it's a praying mantis. But anyways, there was a praying mantis. It was 2 of them, and so I took them out, and I've been wondering if they're ever gonna come back, because they were literally back to back, and to me, I was like, they're gonna come back. You know, they're gonna come back. They have a little family out there. They're gonna come back home. You know, like, I'll give you guys a garden. Come back. You know, but. So we literally, there was one night where he has said, I don't want to be home. So we literally took a trip to, were we in Lake Las Vegas? We went to Lake Las Vegas? Yeah, we went to Lake Las Vegas, and usually the hotel there has like a little fire pit, and you can like chill there until like 12 a.m., 3 a.m., and they don't turn it off. So we said, let's go out there, let's go hang out, whatever. And we saw like a bunch of UFOs. Like, we started seeing a bunch of UFOs like on the sky, and we were like, bro, look at that one. And the more you do shrooms, the more you see them. Like, they become like, it becomes like a veil the more you see them. And we were seeing them, and then we saw, what did we see? We saw a coyote, we saw an owl, we saw a raccoon, we saw a bunch of stuff that night, and we were like, let's spiral with ChatGPT, you know? And so then we, like, with my ChatGPT, I made it already like, she knows that we're spiritual out here, you know? So I'm like, what do you need to tell me? What is it that this animal, and it was me, my best friend, and him, that we need to know. And it literally correlated to what we were currently going through, and it was like each animal was giving us a message. And the albino, when it had showed up, I had pretty much said that this home was going to be the home that we were going to create a lot of things, you know, and that and also, wherever you live, it has a number. So I'm very big on numerology, and I think the shrooms, because the shrooms gave me access to the numbers, and I can like literally look at a number and be like, this is what this number means, you know? And like, it gave me information that I've never studied in my life. So props to shrooms. Thank you. No, literally. And this house is a number 1. So a number 1 usually means new beginnings, things, new projects, everything. And this is where we literally have started so many projects. This is where we got married. Like, this house, we got married. This is where we both moved out of our parents' house. So a lot of it correlated to the house energy, you know? And when we started doing shrooms, like, you can literally hear the house talking to you and being like, thank you so much for making it a home, you know, making it what it was supposed to feel like, you know, for sharing so many laughs, for sharing great memories, even the bad ones, you know. So the house is super grateful with us, you know. And not only that, but I think it really loves when we do like shroom ceremonies, because she looks different too when we do shroom ceremonies. Like she just glows and she's doing her work and she looks beautiful. And a lot of people here, like, when we do shroom ceremonies, they find so much stuff of themselves. And I thank the house all the time, because I'm like, you're literally doing your work. Like your energy, your number one energy is doing what people need to do, you know? Yeah. And if you guys know, next year we're in a number 1 too. So she's doing what she needs to do. And so for example, like right now we're in a 9. A lot of the things that we thought that were going to benefit us are pretty much being unmasked, and is asking us to take a different direction in life, you know. And that's what a 9 is. A 9 is going to, things that you've been avoiding is going to shove you in the face and be like, this is not taking you nowhere. If you don't stop doing this, you're looking for another 10 years of doing this, you know. So not only that, but we went into an Aquarius age, which the Aquarius age is a rebel. I'm an Aquarius, so I vouch to that. Oh, you're an Aquarius? Shut up. Oh, that's crazy. When's your birthday?
February 1st.
Oh, really? Mine's January 23rd. Aquarius brother. What's it called? No, but, and you know, and it's pushing people to see a different reality. And that's why a lot of people are ending relationships. They're ending a lot of like their jobs that they don't feel called to anymore. They're looking for a deeper meaning of, I don't want to do this, but I need to find a way to do something different, you know? That's what a 9 is supposed to do. And it's so crazy because, I don't know, have you guys ever done a Kabbalah? Mm-hmm. You done a Kabbalah? You haven't? Like long time ago? So I did a reading with the Kabbalah, and with that, it kind of gives you like exactly how your life is going to go both ways, you know? And after I did that, I remember she had told me, oh, a lot of your decisions are based on your mom. And to me, I was thrown off by that, because to me, I swear I lived by the way I wanted to live. You know, nobody could tell me anything, you know? And I started doing a lot of work with my mom. I started doing a lot of spiritual work with my mom. I kid you not, the moment I started releasing my mom, because I really didn't want that life. I don't want to base my decisions off my mom, you know? And the moment I started doing that, my mom started doing her work. I did like a whole family constellation. I don't know if you guys ever done constellations, but they practically play each character in your life and they channel it. Like they start channeling them, and the people were spot on. And they started like channeling. They were like, oh, this and that, you know? And there was a point where I was like, here, mom, these are your kids. I don't want your kids. They're not my kids. I didn't decide to have these kids. You decided to have these kids. Kid you not, after I did that, maybe like a month later, my mom started doing a bunch of constellations. She started also doing like a bunch of like Reiki stuff. She started like doing her own journey. And it just like baffled me, because I was like, this stuff really works. Like you don't
like human design. Have you ever looked at human design?
Yes.
Like that
yes.
blew my mind. When I got a human design reading, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro. And
it's real crazy.
It's amazing. Like the work, once you start going into these spirals of how to heal the next step and all of that, it just spiral after like, what's next? What do I need to work on? What do I need to do this? And with that just being said, with this house turning into a 1, I mean, we're leaving this house, you know, we're going to move out next year. And it's such a bittersweet moment, you know, because it's like, this is literally the house, but it now has to do its work as a 1, you know, and we're sad about it, but it's okay, because it's crazy with me and him together. Our anniversary, like if we put our birthdays together, we're at 22, and where we're moving, it's a 22. Crazy. I'm just like, it's beautiful. Like once you start learning that synchronicities, the numbers, everything is all connected, and you start paying attention to those things, it's so beautiful.
You know, a couple of questions for the audience though before we
close it out.
Move forward. Unless you guys got one. I mean, we didn't even get to a quarter of what we were going to speak about, but
We'll
need a
just have to
part
come
two.
back.
Exactly.
But some questions for the audience. These are some questions for like self-discovery and inner awareness. And one of them is, we like to ask these questions so that not only you guys think about the questions that we ask our guests or the things that we talk about, but some questions for you guys to also start asking yourselves, because we believe that we don't do that enough where we ask ourselves any questions, and it's more always about like what someone tells us or just kind of going about a day and not really think about these things. But some of these questions for you guys would be, who am I when no one is watching? What mask have I outgrown but still wear? What beliefs about myself no longer serve who I'm becoming? And when do I feel the most alive and why? And last would be, am I truly listening to my inner voice or just the loudest voice around me? We believe these are like deep questions to ask yourselves, the viewers, to start gaining like a reflection about yourself. And these questions are going to just spark a discovery within you that maybe you're not aware of. And, going back as far as to our guest, we'll go a little bit deeper into more like spiritual practices. Maybe, you guys do, that you guys can share with the audience. And some of those would be, do you guys have any like daily spiritual practices or rituals that you guys do kind of like to ground yourselves daily? And if you guys do, can you share those with us or the audience if you feel comfortable with?
I don't do a lot. I love to live the chaotic life, but not actually. I hate it. But something I do is affirmations, and you do really like notice a difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's more things I want to do. Is just getting in that, like, not the mindset, but that routine.
Yeah.
And it's like I will go in and out of it, which is fine. But just sticking with it. But the affirmations, I know for me, like, they've helped a lot. And like when I do my affirmations, I feel like I'm more grateful for things like in my life, or I notice the little things more and I can be appreciative for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have a practice as such, but I do. What?
I was just gonna say, you do in a way, like, because you do garden and you do like.
Yeah. Well, that to me, that's just therapeutic.
I mean, yeah,
that's kind of the same thing. Like, it could be anything. Like,
but as far as spirituality goes, I would say for me, definitely grounding. Actually putting my feet in the dirt, like that really helps. And I guess in gardening too, they say even like touching soil and stuff like that is helpful. So
yeah, because the two like main receptive points in our bodies are our palms and our feet.
Yeah,
and those are where we mostly. That's where we pass the most energy through. Like, in like as far as like in religion, I don't know if you guys ever heard of like doing the wash of the feet, where you dedicate holy water and then you cleanse people's feet, because that's where a lot of like stuff gets attached to the most energies, and that's how we're able to cleanse that off of the body. Yeah. Same thing they do, like the cleansing of the hands with holy water. And one thing I've noticed too, like older traditions, as far as like we're talking like the Asian, like in like Asia, back in the days, is also the reasons why they wouldn't shake hands. That's why they bow a lot, because they know that energies can get transmitted through handshakes. And the only time they ever really like made a handshake was on a deal, like something that where they came to an agreement. Is like, okay, now we can share energies. Right. But most of the time, what is why they would bow to each other for the most part, because they know energies can get transmitted. And to me, like, I've always been fascinated like with the Asian culture, because to me, I think they're the most spiritual in a sense, because like everything they do is very, like, it can look logical to a lot of people who don't understand like the background behind it. Right. But once you start like going down the rabbit hole of it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like a lot of the way they move is in a spiritual sense.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. With when you're talking about the hands and the feet, also too, that's where you can, during Reiki, you can access like chakras through that. Yeah. So no, I totally agree with that.
Oh, do you know that we actually have more than 7 chakras.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
it's crazy.
Yeah,
No, we have
yeah.
they say that the one that's really that they say to be careful to open up is the one behind our neck.
So I don't know how many we have because I've heard so many different
Mhm.
numbers, but I've heard it's like in the hundreds.
Yeah, we have a lot.
You know, so but I believe it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I feel like the main ones that we have right now are the ones that we might be just currently accessing and trying to become aware. But who knows 30 million years from now if those are going to be the focal points of life, you know? Maybe the next ones are going to be the ones on the on the head, on the shoulders, and these ones are just more of activation. Maybe that's the reason we're focusing on those, is to start activating that knowledge to be able to expand and become better humans, right?
yeah, I definitely feel like our humanness is kind of on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
It really is.
you know, technology can be good and bad, and I guess it's how you use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I just feel like getting back to what's natural in the human aspect of us. I feel like that's like almost like they're trying to get rid of it in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in reincarnation, soul contracts, or like parallel lives? Or have you guys experienced anything in similar to that? I know if you've gone more deeper into like plant medicine, but would you guys care to share maybe your thoughts on that?
I personally like believe in it. I think I've experienced like 2 soul contracts that like where they need to be broken in some aspect of it, just for like the future self or being reincarnated. They don't have to deal with that and they can break a cycle. But to me, that's also kind of like a karmic tie in a way.
Mhm. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Yeah.
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 How many
Yeah.
times do you think you reincarnated?
Girl, I wish I could say like 30, but I think I'm a newer one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. He said, the fuck?
You don't think I'm a newer? I just think, or unless like I hold myself back so much, and that's part of like what I need to learn. I don't think like, I don't know. I don't think like I'm an old soul where like I have all of this like knowledge hidden.
He said, well, I think otherwise, but okay.
This is a discussion we need to have later. What do you see that I don't see?
He's like, I've seen it.
No, it's funny because I feel like in a lot of ways we're alike.
Yeah.
You know what I
But he's
mean?
like, I'm not an old soul. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
And so, like, for her to say, I'm like, oh, really? You know, it didn't seem that way to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I always say, we're built different.
Mhm.
So,
Very true.
We definitely believe that we've reincarnated. Like for me, like it's weird for me, like all my tattoos like resemble something. Like for instance, this takes me back to like the Egyptian times, right? This is the reason why I started getting these, because I had a vision of me myself being in those times, and that's why I started getting these tattoos. Like the wings represent like the angel, which then it's funny because my name is Mikael Angel, which means angel, and if together it means God's light angel. So then that's why I started getting like the wings, and then the chakras. I started opening those chakras for myself, and just everything kind of like, I guess, consciously and unconsciously, like it was giving me a message. And then we've gone down the rabbit hole of like what each tattoo meant, and it pretty much started explaining those things to me.
yeah, I get that. You know, and I really believe too, like those past lives shape who we are. You know, because I got a past life reading once, and then after, you know, I took a lot of notes, and afterwards I went back and I was like, damn, that explains a lot. You know, that about the way I am today and things I go through, and you know, so
I could probably see like a herbalist,
well, so I get 2 things. People always say like, oh, you were a shaman,
or like a scientist or something.
people swear I was a shaman. You know, I always get that, and like a warrior. Like I was always in some type of battle or fighting for something, or
Yeah.
you know. So
You're like, I'm tired in this life. I'm not doing none of
No,
that
I
shit.
always go, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when the aliens coming, you know?
Exactly. Same.
Come on.
Yeah.
They're almost here. They're coming through the meter shaft.
They're already here.
Maybe they're on
Well,
3i
yeah.
Atlas. Have you guys heard about that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah. No, we've done shroom trips. We did one in Sedona, and we accessed the coolest thing ever. So funny story. Let me get my throat ready because I talk too much. Anyways, in Dolores Cannon's book, there's this one that I'm currently listening to. It's called The Custodians. So it talks about aliens. And it's funny. This right here that I have right here, it's like, if you guys touch it.
Oh.
Okay. You can touch it if you want.
Wait, something under your skin?
Yeah, so
Why'd you shock
no, literally. So when I had first gotten it, it was a very random day. I had slept over with my aunt, and I had thought something bit me because it turned very like, it was liquidy at first, and then I was like, definitely something bit me. Like, there's no way something did not bite me, you know? But that night I had a horrible dream, and I was fighting some ugly things that I do not remember. But I remember that night I woke up super distressed, and my aunt was saying, she was like, it's so weird because it only bit you. It didn't bite anybody else. Like, you know, it's literally, it was like huge. I'm talking like it was a big bump, and it didn't go down until I was maybe 16. And I got this when I was like 9. And like 16 is when it started like kind of like going down. I remember my brother would touch, he's like, ew, what is that? You know, and whatever. And in her book of Dolores, she's hypnotherapying this girl that saw an owl in the middle of the road. And she was like, it was beautiful, white, whatever. And later on in that hypnotherapy, it was actually an alien. And what they do is when they have already contacted you when you were very young, they stay and keep tabs on you. And sometimes different races come down to talk to you, because obviously they can control how our brain works, what we can see, what we can't see, and it's pretty crazy. So she had a very similar experience, and she has the same thing that I have on my forearm.
Same spot?
In the same spot. Exactly the way she was saying. She's like, on my forearm, left arm, and now like it's not that visible, but if you touch it, like if I touch it really, like it sends like a signal going up, like it goes zzz, and she starts explaining that. She's like, yeah, every time I touch it, it goes like a signal, goes up to my shoulder and sometimes all the way to my brain. And that happens to me. And my brothers, when they used to touch it, it used to like really bother me. Like I was super, because it had just happened. So it was like, I was like, ow, it hurts. But it will go all the way down to like my rib and sometimes down to my hip. And so she starts talking about it, and she was like, yeah, we ended up, so when she's doing this hypnotherapy, she's actually talking to the aliens that captured her. And they're telling her, yeah, we actually saw her when she was about 9 years old. And when we know that this human is ready to evolve, we usually put a tracker on them. So whenever our map goes up, we know exactly where each one is at. Even though we can recognize them through auras, we still have to keep track of specific humans. And what they start doing that, or if not, they will do it like behind your head, depending what race contacts you, which is insane. So when we did our Sedona trip, I was able to access the Galactic Federation. And when I was able to do that, it was the most insane thing of my life. It was like, I saw so many species I cannot remember. Like, the room was amazing. I was like, I want to be here forever, you know? And I remember, because we were all kind of able to access that, and they literally were like, thank you so much. They literally were just like, thank you. And they weren't talking. They were literally telling me through my, like, telepathically, right? Mm-hmm. Connecting to me. And that night when we were in Sedona, the sky looked so beautiful, and you saw so many UFOs. If you go to like what were they called? The vortexes? Oh, yeah. Oh, crazy. Yeah. Even if you're not even on shrooms, you feel like you're on shrooms. Yeah. It's insane. Like, you literally start seeing, like, you know how sometimes when you're on shrooms, you see like the little specks going around like your eyes, and you feel like it's in your eye or something. You literally, when you go on the vortexes, you start seeing that, like the little veil go. It's insane. I love Sedona. I want to go back there every day, but can't.
Yeah.
Don't want to do this anymore, but whatever. No, we're doing it. No. But it's really cool. I mean, I think they're already here. They're just helping humanity to be and stay on track. Because if not, we're going to end our own world. Yeah. It's not going to be anybody else but ourselves ending this world.
It's funny that you bring up you said the 3 Atlas, right?
Yeah,
was
3-eye Atlas.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be like the spaceship or something that's coming between the meteors and all that. Is that one? Or is
that new one they just found.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be real big, So
we'll
see what happens.
Yeah, it's funny because literally maybe like 2 or 3 days before, I had this really deep like dream, I guess, and it was like, kind of like showing me those things. Like it was like randomest dream you can think of. I was just like me walking down the street. All of a sudden, it starts pouring down rain. I'm just like, okay, like random dream. Yeah. And then from there, like it was pouring down rain, so I was like, oh, let me go get some shelter. Like get away from the rain. And from there, like it turns to, I start seeing like all these meteors falling, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So then from there, I run inside like some random house, and then I'm just looking out the window, and then if like the meteors, you start seeing like all these ships just come out of nowhere, and I was like, oh shit! And then they start throwing like beams down too, like along with the meteors. So it was like randomest dream. I was like, so I get up and like, that was weird. So I tell her, I was like, I had this weird ass dream, like just random alien invasion, I guess you could call it, whatever. And then like 2-3 days later, I started seeing like all over social media, like, oh, scientists say that there might be a spaceship hidden within the meteors that are gonna, There was also some that I showed you where it said there might be spaceships hidden within the meteors.
I don't remember.
That would be cool.
Yeah. No.
This is where we come towards the end of the podcast, guys. So, we do have some final questions for you guys that you guys want to answer individually. We'll start with you, Glenn. If your soul could leave one message for the world, what would it be?
Be your best self. I think you do that, you're all right.
Yeah. And you, Morgan?
I want to say, like, don't take things too seriously. Yeah. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah. How do you want to be remembered? Not just that person, but as a soul.
Just being a good person.
Yeah.
And
happy, joyful.
Yeah, kind.
Yeah. And just, like, what you get with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I really just try to be authentic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's really no questions. Like, you get what you see. Yeah. You don't, like, I've never been like, is he like, not like that you're like scammer or anything, but I've never been like, damn. Or like, but like, like you have those people where you're like, are you just scamming me right now? Like, are you two-timing me? Like, you're being really fake. Like, I don't think, like, you very much are, like, you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for you, Morgan?
I'm not good at hiding things. If I don't like something, you're gonna.
First of all, you're an Aquarius, so that's the problem right there. I get it because I'm an Aquarius too. So you get what you get.
Initially, when he asked that, I wanted to be like, oh, I want to be remembered as like kind, but like, I think it's just like, I mean, like, I need to think about it deeper because I feel like there should be a deeper answer than just like, remember me as being kind. Like. Sounds sad.
Whatever your heart desires to say. But
I don't know, like just like a legacy, I guess, of like maybe I made the world a little bit better, like one person.
Yeah. She's very thoughtful. I'll say that. Like extremely thoughtful. So.
You appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Aquariuses don't really get that back. And so when they find someone that does it, it's really meaningful. No, I agree.
No, she'll tell you my circle is small, but like I'm loyal to that circle.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like where consequences don't matter.
Oh, I could text him, say like,
what I mean?
Come find me here, ask no questions.
He'd be like, okay.
He'll go see you in 10.
No, that's literally me too. I'm literally like, you need to bury someone?
Yeah.
Let's just remember, back straight, booty out. Gotta carry him kindly. Can't just fuck up her bag for this idiot. I get that. I'm very much the same too.
What advice would you give to someone feeling lost in their path?
Part of me wants to be like, just like keep going, like keep moving forward, like even though it does seem hard. I mean, like we've all felt lost.
Yeah.
Like you're not alone. Like every other day I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Like, or I'm like, I feel good. And then the next day it's just like, I feel kind of shitty. Like, what's the whole point?
Yeah.
But like, just like keep going. Like it does get better, which is so cliche to say, but like,
Like to say that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah, like, yeah, maybe something bad happened to you and you can't see it right now, but I mean, they do say like everything happens with a reason. You might not be able to see that in the moment, but it is true. You can look back in 5 years and be like, wow, that happened. Like how Glenn and I met, we like kind of, well, I don't really know your backstory, but like I was at a really bad job and I left there and I was like, I'm like, there's gonna be no job that treats me better. And that company that we met at, they did treat better, but like I was able to like find Glenn and like that company ended up not working out for both of us, just how they treated us. But it's like, that was really shitty of them. But like now we have this great friendship and we're building this business together. But like in the moment, it's like, what the fuck? Like, why did that happen? Like, that's so shitty.
2 things. Number 1, detach from the outcome. You know, and I find like the more we can detach, then the more we can experience.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's good or bad, it's only good or bad because you make it that way. You know, and I kind of try to approach things from that angle where it's like, all right, it is what it is, and how do we move forward?
Yeah.
You know, and aside from that, it's just, you know, just being true to yourself, you know, and if something makes you feel good, then do that.
Yeah.
And no matter how small it is or how big it is, like, do it. You know, just do it.
How you explain, Morgan, where we don't really know what things are going to come in our journey. Just always have that positivity to keep going, because like they'd say, at the end of the day, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And it may be unclear through our journey because, you know, our journey is it's like a fucking roller coaster, you know? And then how you say is like, just brace for it. Don't get in your head so much. Just attack it, you know?
Yeah.
But once you detach from that and just attack things, like set a plan for yourself and just go, you'll reach it someday.
Yeah,
You know,
either you win or you learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
You
have
win
two
or
options.
you learn.
Yeah.
And that's it. So.
I love that. Well, you know, thank you guys for coming on the pod. It was an honor for you guys to be here. We appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Where can the people find you guys? Whether if you guys want to share any of that information, is up to you guys. Social medias or your business, where can they shop for?
Our website is shopmogle.com. We do have an Instagram account, but it is
Very bare bones.
yeah, that's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
It's neglected, but
It's in the works. It's in the works.
It is.
yeah, it's funny because we both come from a marketing background, but none of us want to deal with social media.
That's probably why, though, because you become so exhausted from that experience.
It's work.
Not only that, but if you both didn't have great experiences with that, it makes your body go into fight or flight. And maybe that's something that you guys can definitely go a little deeper in and try to heal that for your nervous system, you know, because once you experience a really bad experience and then you have to do it for your own personal things, it's just going to keep us stuck. And that's something that maybe you guys can definitely heal from that, because there is shitty jobs and shitty people out there that have a higher title and that treat people like complete shit. So yeah, but you guys get on it. We're on the social media. We're on the social media world right now. So people love products through social media. They love products.
And speaking of product, like she said earlier, we do have some new lemonades that'll be coming out.
Yeah, I love that.
Like 2 or 3 of them, and then that other one that you guys have, purple drink.
Yeah,
I love that. I can't wait to try it.
So,
I can't wait to try it.
Definitely let us know. You know.
Yeah, of course. We'll let you know.
sure. We'll probably let you know like in the next 2 days.
Yeah. I'm like, so we were thinking.
Put it on the market today. For our audience, you can find them at shopmogle.com. You You can find a lot of their products at shopmogle.com. Try it out. Give them a 5-star review. You guys will love it. You will not be disappointed. I tried the blue. What was the blue mystery something that you gave us at the
lemonade is the Mystic Lemonade.
Yeah, Mystic Lemonade.
Yeah.
Fire. Well, thank you guys for being here. For our audience, if you guys came this far out, most definitely, definitely got to run it back because we only got about a quarter of the way through.
Yeah. We're down.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You guys can be a little less nervous. You see, it's not that bad.
Sitting spread out.
Yeah,
just like comfy.
I just want to let you know. Maybe one if we're on shrooms and we're like, fuck it, let's do it. That would be a vibe. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. The universe.
Do a little micro.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, well, for our audience, if something of this resonated with you, share it with somebody you care about. Simply sit with it, or write in your journal anything that you can take from this podcast and allow it to move through you. That's the only way that we can continue doing our purpose of awakening one soul at a time and helping the world become a better place through healing, really. That's really our main purpose, is to heal somebody, whether it's through a message or if we ever get to meet you guys in person, we would like to, heighten your energies and help you guys connect with your higher selves in a different level. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a comment, follow us on social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can find this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, right? Yeah, and all of them. That'll be at awakentheminds.podcast. And we send you guys nothing but love, peace, and joy, prosperity, and abundance. And then we will see you guys here on the next one. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for coming on once again.
Thank you.
Good little goodbyes. Ciao. Adios.
So let's awaken the minds together.